But let's check this out. So if you pretend that's the baby's outfit, an extra outfit for a baby or even for mama, because sometimes you need a shirt.
Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. I'm so excited to have you here. Today we are checking out a gorgeous vintage Louis Vuitton Nile bag. This bag is unique and I want to cover some of the points with you as well as share how it fits, the try on of the bag at the end of the video, and what's in my bag as well. So if you enjoy authentic luxury handbags, reviews, and all that good stuff, I would love for you to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell down below. That way you get to see the new content each week and you can build a community here with us and leave a comment below and introduce yourself. Let me know if there's a bag that you would like reviewed or have any questions. And without further ado, let's check out the Louis Vuitton Nile. All right, friends, so like I said, today we're checking out a vintage piece by Louis Vuitton. This is the Louis Vuitton Nile. So this did come in a couple different sizes and it had some variations over the years as well. So we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about some of the pros of this bag, some of my favorite pieces, and just some things to consider when you're looking at a Nile. So if you enjoy authentic luxury handbags, make sure you like and subscribe down below. If there's a review that you guys would like to see as well, feel free to comment below. Let me know if there's something you want me to review for you guys, want to do some mod shots on, or just to see what fits inside, and I would love to be able to help you guys out. Also, make sure you check out abbymbags.com if you want to see available inventory, such as things we've done in previous videos and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and dive into this beautiful piece. So like I said, you do have some aspects of this bag that change over time. There are some older ones that are, pre-date code. There are some that came in and changed a little bit while we see it with the early date codes in the early 80s, mid 80s, and even into the 90s with the Nile bag. So a couple of things to note is there were different sizes of the bag, even though they weren't necessarily considered a PM, MM, and GM size. We still see the variations in sizing as well as some of the changes on the bag. So we're gonna go ahead and cover those real quick. So first, this one is actually from 1985. That's right, this bag is still living beautiful and strong and is from 1985. I absolutely love the quality on vintage pieces. It is one of my favorite things that you just see something that not only withstands time, the test of time in being used, but also they stay beautiful, they withhold so well, and they are still usable today. So I absolutely love that about these bags. And like I said, some of the things to note that are different throughout the years. So some of the Niles we do see actually with the leather on the front. Other ones we see with no leather on the front, not with the leather. And some of them actually change with the front pocket as well. So they may have the front pocket, they may not. And you know how it looks like this one. Like I said, this is 85. And don't worry, I'll post the measurements down below for you guys as well, since the sizing can be so different. But that is one thing that really stood out to me more than anything is you can have a different variation of how the front looks a little bit and so on and so forth. So you may see little different variations there, especially if you get in pre-date code because it's so different. But generally speaking, this is what the Nile is going to look like. So let's go ahead and check out some of the details on the bag as well. All right, so this bag, the strap is a beautiful thick monogram strap. It attaches right here, as you see, through the little piece of hardware. It's not removable, and it is, there we go, it is on the bag with that leather piece. A couple things I like to share with you guys, just to watch out for, especially when you're looking on the pre-loved market for one of those vintage pieces, as this is like a sign of wear and tear you can see on some of these depending on how the bag was used. So if the bag was used really hard or really, thrown around over the years or not kept well with the strap, if somebody maybe stored it with the strap bent, we can also see that this can rip and tear just like normal wear and tear on the bag. So that is something that you could contact Louis Vuitton or someone else to replace that if you needed to. But this one, she withstands the test of time so well, and I absolutely love that. I love the strap. It is also adjustable, guys. We love to see a good adjustable strap that helps it fit for so many different body frames, and you can also decide if you want a crossbody or over the shoulder or all that good stuff. So we will do a try on at the end of the video. Make sure you stay tuned for that, as well as what's in my bag. But this one actually has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, I didn't count before, 5, 6, 7 different adjustments on the strap. And that makes it really easy to fit so many different body frames. So this one, I have heard said it's a gender neutral bag. However, it's totally your preference. It is more of a messenger style crossbody. Again, you can have different sizes on the Nile, so some of them you could even potentially fit a laptop or tablet in. This one, it would not fit. Maybe a smaller tablet or something would fit in there. Like I said, I'll put those measurements in the description. But on this strap, we originally see a shoulder pad. Now, over the years, like I've told you guys before, those may be removed by, you know, the previous owner. They may have broken off or whatever happens to them. But they originally come with those shoulder pads as well as the little pieces of leather to kind of slide the extra part of that strap on there. So that's a really awesome feature, but again, it may be missing depending on what year you get and what happened to it over the years. So just something to note. So the other thing about this bag that I love is that you have multiple compartments. So these multiple compartments aren't just like pockets that you have in a bag, but actually storage areas. So you don't have that slide-in pocket for your phone and keys, but we do see this lovely front compartment that separates your go-to items from those kind of need to go and grab items. So let's go ahead and check these out real quick. I do have some stuffing in here, so bear with me while we get this out. Maybe a little loud. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and empty both pockets. All right, so let's talk about the front one first. Look at that amount of room. I absolutely love it. So this makes it easy to grab your phone, your keys, and honestly, you can even put your wallet and whatever else you want to in there, and it makes it so easy to know exactly where those items are. No more reaching around for it, no more having to find, you know, and finagle for it. It's really, really easy. So the other compartment we see is a little bit larger and wider and taller. The front one actually goes really wide if you wanted it to, but this one's a really good size as well. So overall, this bag has a great amount of room. I would say it's a really good everyday bag. It's so easy to use, and honestly, you don't have too much vachetta, so you don't have to worry about if you get stuck in some rain. You do have a little bit, so you can be cautious of that, but honestly, it is a really great option that's just, like I said, very easy to use. So on this piece, like I said, she's from the 80s, so we do find a couple things to note when we're looking on those older bags. So on these older pieces, sometimes you see where maybe the bag's lining got sticky, or you had dry peel, or even sticky, you know, the sticky peeling. But on this piece, she's beautiful. So check out this pocket. Looks absolutely gorgeous, no peeling, no stickiness. So this has the interior pocket as well, and honestly, this one's a really good size. So when we do a what's in my bag, we'll check out what fits in that pocket, but that makes it really nice as well. If you wanted to put your phone or keys in there, that gives you a great option for privacy or whatever you want to put in there. So let's check out where to do the date code, where to find the date code rather. Where do you find the date code and the heat stamp if you're needing a third party to authenticate your vintage piece? Now, one thing to note is most really good third-party authentication companies can actually help you not only find the date code if it's supposed to be there, but if it's not there, they will know that it is a pre-date code bag as well. So there are a couple of things they might have you look for in different spots, but I want to share with you where to find that date code most likely if it's in your bag. So like I said, we do have a couple different sizings on the Nile, so it may change locations as well, especially over the years, but we're going to go over mainly where you would find it and where it's located on this 85 bag. So let's go ahead and check that out. So on this bag, it's actually located, if you see the side of the bag, it's going to be right inside, right about here on the bag. So on this piece, it's right there, almost in between the stitching, right in the spot. But you could also see the date code located in one of the top corners on the interior. And remember, we have to watch out for when they print them on the lining. So it may not actually be pre-date code. Your bag may actually have it printed and stamped on the lining rather than imprinted on the lining. And then over the years, it can be really challenging to see that because it can actually fade, rub, or even almost come completely off just because of the relaxation of that lining over time. So that is something to note. If you know your bag's authentic and you don't see that, feel free to reach out to that third-party authentication as well, and they will know if it's faded or not, but that does make it additionally a little challenging to find. So just to note, but for our heat stamp, we're going to find, let's see if we can get it on there really well for you. Up here on the top part of the bag, this one is just stamped on as well, but in the black color, so it's a little bit easier to see. However, again, Pre-date code especially, they actually stamped it into the lining, so sometimes we see a lot of that relaxation of the lining as well as fading to it, so that may be challenging to see as well. But again, check out that top part here and the corners as well, because actually that heat stamp can be on one of the top corners for that location. So let's go ahead and just do a quick overview of the bag, and then we are going to do a what's in my bag and try on of the Louis Vuitton Nile. So this is the front of the bag like we talked about. Also the back, we see those back corners have the little pieces of leather as well, which adds such a cute detail. So on these bags, sometimes the vintage pieces, we do see a little bit of pulling with the zipper where it goes just a smidge slower. So there is a little bit of a remedy that I do for this. First of all, I do personally, this one's going a little bit slower too. I do personally go ahead and clean up those zippers. I also like to use wax paper. So this is totally your own preference, to each their own. But what I do is I get a little piece of the wax paper and just rub it along the zipper. Then you kind of work the zipper just a little bit at a time to go over that. So this one I'll probably do that with, and it ends up running so much smoother over time. But I do really love that on these bags that you actually have that thick, nice, sturdy zipper that just withstands time. Honestly, this is the original zipper on this piece, and it has done so well. It needs a little bit of the wax paper to run a little bit smoother just along part of it, but honestly, this is such a great quality piece. I absolutely love that. So let's go ahead and do a what's in my bag of the Louis Vuitton Nile, as well as that try on to see how she fits. All right, friends, so let's go ahead and check out a close-up look of the Louis Vuitton Vintage Nile bag. And I also want to share with you a close-up of where to see that heat stamp and date code, just because it was so tricky earlier in the video. So we're going to go ahead and check that out, as well as what fits in the bag. And then stay tuned for the end of the video, and we're going to do a try-on and kind of see what this bag looks like crossbody and over the shoulder. So let's go ahead and get started. So first, I just want to share with you a little bit of a close-up of those sides as well. So let's see how those two pockets sit. So they are similar in width. However, this one is a bit taller, allowing for more space in the main compartment. So those are great options. Again, if you want to separate those items, we will go ahead and check out what fits in there, but I just love that it has that feature to the bag. So those heat stamps and date codes, where do you find them? So like I said, they can be in different locations, especially in different years, but the heat stamp on this one is right in here, right there at the top, if you can see. The leather has relaxed a little bit for that lining on this vintage piece, and the date code is going to be on that side. So we see, like I said, on that exterior part, but right on the interior, and it's stamped in, so it's a little tricky to see. Let's see if we can get some light on it or not. That's debatable. Let's see, maybe. So it's actually right in here. Now I'm going to actually pull the flashlight out because I want to show you guys how tricky this could be sometimes when it's stamped in there. So let's see if this flashlight will work. Can you see it? Let's see. Right down there, super tricky. But see how it's stamped into the leather instead of an actual print on there? It can make it a little extra tricky. So let's see what fits in the bag. So like I said, this compartment's a little bit larger, so I typically go for larger items in here. I want to do two different things today for you guys. So when I was using the Nile, I was using this as an everyday bag, an everyday carry, or I also used it when I had littles. So I used it as my mom bag, my catch-all bag, all that good stuff. So that's what I used this for as well. Just kind of like the purse / baby carry bag. So we will see what that looks like to add a few of those items as well, but also daily carry. So we're going to start off with the daily carry. I've got to move all my stuffing out of the way because I put it all out there from the bag. Okay, let's get started with the essentials. So you guys know that toiletry 15 pouch is my catch-all in like every single bag for a long time. So that one's gonna go in there first. I also have that Louis Vuitton vintage pouch. I really love this piece. If I'm not using this, I'm generally using another pouch like the PM or GM pouch. I'm not using one currently, but I use those for
everything. So I've been using this one instead. And then, like I said, my vintage Chanel one as well. And I just kind of replaced it for that at this time because I was using it so frequently. These ones have to line up a little bit differently. So they kind of sit like that. We have those ones in there. Also keys and keys. So my key pouch, I'm an Aldi girly. So Aldi quarters are always in there. This is my 6 key holder just with the additional keys that I do need as well. So those will go in here. My keys actually, we will go ahead. Like I told you guys, I want to show you what fits in the front. So let's do the keys in the front compartment. I don't know where we're wanting to put the wallet today. So we'll try both. So the keys in the front compartment, my card holder, pocket organizer. That one is, like I said, the pocket organizer, the vintage one. That one is going to go back here. So phone, nail kit, and gum. Always have it. Always need it in there. Phone's going to go in that front compartment. And then wallet is actually going to go back here. That's that vintage one. I've got apparently too much change in there right now. So I think actually one of them's sitting crooked. There we go. So that one goes back here. And as you can tell, that's a pretty snug fit. So that's what it looks like together. I still have a tiny bit of room. I did not use that back compartment, but that's what it looks like. And this one's sitting on, there we go. It was sitting on the little pouch. So it feels really, really good. It sits nicely. That front compartment, I just put my phone and my keys, and that's what it looks like. So you could definitely, like my wallet I'm using right now is larger, but even the large wallet would completely fit in there. No problem at all. It fits really well. So really you could do either one. So I guess we'll leave it in there right now and show you what this looks like zipped up, and then we'll do the additional baby items. So a couple things on this bag. Does it get bulky? Yes and no. It just sits different than other bags. So yes, obviously it has those double compartments, so it sticks out a little bit more than some other bags, say like a Favorite, or one of those more form-fitting bags that, you know, is a slouchier fit. This is a more structured bag, so it's going to stick out more than those, but I don't think it's awkward or too cumbersome. I think that sits, you know, well as you carry. So that's what it looks like inside there. We're going to add a couple little baby items and see how those fit as well. So let's go ahead and check that out. Okay, so if you're a mama and you want to have a baby carry in your bag as well, all those baby carry items, this one, honestly, what I would do is I would probably remove one of the pouches and try to condense a little bit more. So if I had more things like a pacifier holder that I needed in there, or, you know, whatever miscellaneous, you could remove some of those things. Like I'd probably not have that one with me. Probably would not have my card holder with me. And then it gives you a little additional room. I have today the diapers and wipes. Sorry for the noise, but those actually sit on really well on the top and allows you to close it really easily. So you do have additional room still for those other few items if you need them. And again, you can kind of move it around and whatnot. Even if you just had your phone, keys, wallet type of thing, if you're not someone who uses all the pouches like I do, then you would have even more additional space for that. You could even lay it the other direction. Honestly, I've had times where I have little ones and I could, you know, roll up an extra pair of pants for them or an extra onesie, and it fits in there too. So you can totally do that. We're gonna go a little outside of that, but I have a dust bag with me. So this is actually a really big dust bag. That's like a never full GM dust bag, I think, or something. But let's check this out. So if you pretend that's the baby's outfit, an extra outfit for a baby or even for mama, because sometimes you need a shirt, you have extra space over there. And again, it fits in really nice. So this is a great option if you need I wouldn't say like that full blown diaper bag where you pack all the things. But if you just need to have a few of those extra items, like an on-the-go with some extra clothes, or again, like a pacifier holder, the diapers, wipes, that fits really great in there as well. And both are awesome options. So let me know in the comments below what you use your bag for and what is really your go-to items in your bag. I'm curious to hear from you guys because I know we all go through so many different seasons of life where it just constantly changes. And honestly, for me, I've had times where there are some that I love and other times where it just doesn't work because of the phase and stages of life. So I'm interested to hear from you guys down below. But without further ado, let's check out how the Louis Vuitton Nile bag fits.
All right, friends, so let's go ahead and check out how the Louis Vuitton Vintage Nile bag fits. Now, I did want to go ahead and let you know this bag is completely full of all the things we just put inside for the daily carry. So this is what it looks like. I have it, like I said, I'm 5'5" for reference. I have this on the second to the last setting, just because I really like where it sits a little bit shorter for a crossbody. You can do it shorter or longer. Sometimes I do kind of get in the mood for a longer one opposed to shorter, but this is how it fits over the shoulder. It fits really nice. Lengthwise, I really like that. But then you can go ahead and additionally add it as a crossbody. That shoulder pad right there, I really like how it sits kind of in front on my hip. So a couple questions I've gotten in the past with this bag is, does it clunk around and does it kind of just swing and almost hit something as you bend over at the store or go to do something? And again, like I've told you guys before, it's kind of a yes and no question answer. So yes, it does get a little bit heavier and chunky, again, opposed to like a more flush slouchy bag or even a smaller kind of pouch bag. However, I found that when I wear it on my hip like this, it sits really well and I don't feel like it's swinging around too heavy, as to where if I make it a little bit lower and I try to kind of toss it behind me, then if I go to bend down and get something or maneuver, you know, lower, then it does kind of want to swing ahead. But if you go ahead and just set it there already, it doesn't feel like it's going to, you know, bump something or knock something out of the way. It just sits a lot better, in my opinion, that way on my body. And so I just prefer, like I said, that shorter crossbody style with it and kind of put it in the front. But to each their own, you can carry how it feels comfortable on your body. We're all shaped so differently. So it definitely can adjust and be different for each different person. So like I said, this is the second to the shortest setting. So even if you're taller, this is a great option as well because you have so many of those settings on this piece. It makes it really easy to adjust and use what works best for you. So let me know in the comments below, do you guys use the Louis Vuitton Vintage Nile? And if you do you prefer a larger one or the smaller ones? Where are you at on that? I'm really interested to hear from you. And I will see you in the next video, friends. Bye, friends.